You are watching News 9 Live. I am Krishna Kumar and we continue with our coverage here on the missing Amritpal Singh in Punjab. Akal, Takht'S, the top Sikh body's chief, the Jathedar, Giani Harpreet Singh, has now given a 24-hour ultimatum for the release of Sikhs held amidst the crackdown on Amritpal Singh. The Jathedar, or the acting chief of the top Sikh body, has asked the Punjab government to release all Sikh youth who were arrested during the police crackdown against the radical preacher Amritpal Singh and his aides. Here's what he said, and I quote him over here. If the government does not end the atmosphere of terror by releasing all the youngsters within 24 hours, then a campaign will be initiated diplomatically in the country and abroad against the atmosphere created by the Indian state of committing excesses on the Sikhs, unquote. Not stopping with their ultimatum, the Jathedar also condemned the Punjab government for invoking the National Security Act against some people during the police crackdown. Over 300 people were taken into preventive custody by the Punjab police on the apprehension of breach of peace and disturbance of law and order following the crackdown against Amritpal Singh and his associates. Nearly 200 people have been released so far. Punjab's Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann has said that he has asked the Director General of Police to release those who were taken into preventive custody and their involvement to any anti-national activity if it was not found. Now, the Jathedar has also convened a special gathering of eminent Sikhs, including intellectuals, lawyers, journalists, religious and social leaders. And that meeting will be held in Amritsar to discuss the current situation that is raging on in Punjab. In a veiled reference, the Jathedar of Akal Takht, the top Sikh body, has said that the NSA should also then be invoked against those who speak about quote-unquote Hindu Rashtra. Now, we have senior journalist Vipin Pabbi joining us on this broadcast, and we also have my colleague Pankaj Mishra joining us. I'm going to begin with a question to Vipin Pabbi, and then I'll come to you, Pankaj. Vipin Pabbi, talk to us this, this kind of audacity to ask for this by the Akal Takht will not be looked upon in a friendly way by many.
Well, you see, it's all politics. We all know, and it's common knowledge, that Akal Takht and SGPC are totally controlled by the Akalis, the Shiromani Akali Dal, led by Badal, correctly. So this is, whatever they do or whatever they say, it always has a backing of Shiromani Akali Dal. I mean, at least in the recent past. Earlier, it used to be independent, and there were a lot of other Sikh leaders who were there. But for the last, I would say, about 15 to 20 years, these have been under the influence or control, I would say, of the Badals. So this, I think the call has emanated from there, because Akali Dal now sees, Shiromani Akali Dal now sees there is an opportunity to get back the vote bank that it had lost when the Aam Aadmi Party government came in. So I think they are trying to make up and trying to get into the troubled waters, and by giving it 24 hours ultimatum, that was clearly that, it's not enough. And even if an ultimatum is given, enough time should have been given. But apparently they want to, get into these muddy waters, and also try to create a controversy and influence the Sikh priest, that's the head priest, who is actually elected by the SGPC, to make this kind of a statement.
Right. Pankaj, the fact of the matter is that nearly 200 people of the 300 people who have been arrested have been released so far already.
Right. Obviously, there are hundreds odd left as of now in the custody of Punjab police, and that is something which is proving to for the Punjab government being in a between a rock and a hard place, because on one hand, they are now facing the heat from the Akal Takht, and on the other, the criticism for the Punjab government hasn't died down so far for the escape of Amritpal Singh. So, in this precarious position, obviously, one has to be very wary of the situation both within the state and outside the borders as well, because now the government of India also is in touch with the Nepalese government on the reports based that Amritpal might have sneaked into Nepal, and whether he chooses to or whether he manages to go to any third country from Nepal is something that India is trying hard to prevent as of now. But for Mann government. It's a tough time, obviously, and now with this kind of domestic pressure being built on him is something where he needs to tread very cautiously, because he cannot afford to rub the Sikh sentiments the wrong way. And one would find also merit in what Jathedar is saying, that if these people would be taken into custody who were talking about, say, a separate Khalistan, then why not take also action against those calling for Hindu Rashtra? So, Krishna, I think it's a tightrope walk for the Aam Aadmi Party government there in Punjab, and obviously one will have to wait and watch how the steps are being taken further.
Right, a very difficult time for the Punjab government, the Punjab Chief Minister, isn't it, Bipin Pabbi? He has to walk the tightrope in a situation like this. And as you're telling us, these kind of comments, these kind of ultimatums by the Akal Takht had to have come from the Shiromani Akali Dal with the political backing. So in that sense, do you see the Chief Minister reacting to this in a political way?
Krishna, in fact, he has just reacted. I was just looking at the Twitter post, and just about, I think, 5-10 minutes ago, he has actually reacted, and he has almost said the same thing, that it is, the Akalis, the Shiromani Akali Dal, which is known to be controlling the SGPC and Akal Takht, that they are trying to fish in troubled water. So that is exactly he is trying to say. And he may not be too far from that coming, because this statement coming all of a sudden, it means that it was thought out now. And also another step which this Akal Takht Jathedar has taken is that he is calling a meeting tomorrow of the Sikh intellectuals and journalists and other ideologues and other people, and wanting to discuss as to what needs to be done. But as was rightly being pointed out, that you are invoking NSA against the youth for whatever their demand is. It's a verbal demand. There is no violence involved, and they're simply demanding a Sikh homeland, which itself under the law is not a crime. Under the constitution, it's not a crime. Just as asking for Hindu Rashtra is not a crime. So that part he's taken up, and these kind of reactions are bound, I think, to happen when you talk of one religion, one community all the time, and saying that India is one, all laws are for one, there's all for one and one for all. So that, I think, will sometimes have a counter reaction, and these people are rightly, maybe rightly or whatever, but that is what they think they are rightly doing.
Right.
That why should NSA be invoked against their supporters when people openly are demanding all other kind of status for the country? Right.
Just to keep with this ultimatum that's been really issued by the Akal Takht, Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann has asked the Director General of Punjab Police to release those taken into preventive custody if it was found that they had no involvement in any anti-national activity. I mean, this has already been done by him even before the ultimatum came.
That's true. That's true. He has already done it, and there is no doubt about it. I think he has released more than 100 of those, about 300 who were arrested. 100 plus have been released already, against whom there were no serious charges of indulging in violence and all that. I don't know exactly what is the process, what about the others, and whether a process is going on. I think I read a statement somewhere where they're saying that they are looking into each individual case, and that they would be withdrawing this NSA charges against those who are found to be just supporters or who have not indulged in any kind of violence or arson or any other illegal activity.
Right, Pankaj, so in that sense, this entire ultimatum, it could be, could fizzle out very quickly, if Bhagwant Mann, the Chief Minister of Punjab, decides to take things forward, and he has done it, 2/3 of the 300 already. It takes, not too much effort to just quell and quash this ultimatum.
Well, it does. Doesn't make much sense also, Krishna, to hold on to those who are taken into preventive custody. But yes, 18 odd people who are facing NSA charges, something that remains to be seen whether they go ahead with pressing further charges on them or not. But one critical aspect, Krishna, that comes to the picture here is that the threat perception, both domestically and internationally, what we are witnessing as of now, be it in the form of attacks and hooligan behavior at Indian consulates outside India, that is something which both the Punjab government and the central government will have to take into consideration, because yes, not cowing down under pressure, but still taking calculated steps is something that needs to be kept in mind as of now, because the primary target, the original, the crux of the matter here is to find Amritpal and to nab him. That is the key issue that both the state government and center must focus
right, and
on.
we should not forget that. Absolutely fantastic point, Pankaj. Isn't that, Vipin Pabbi? Right now, the focus continues to be on making sure Amritpal Singh is brought into custody at the earliest to make sure no other problem arises in Punjab.
Absolutely true, because it's been 9 or 10 days, and he has been, not been able. The police is not able to nab him. And what is happening is almost every day there are some photographs or CCTV footages are being leaked or released, even some selfies. And this has put the Punjab government in a very embarrassing situation. There is no doubt that the government, the police particularly, botched up this operation, and they should have planned it much better so that he doesn't come out of the dragnet. But I must also here add a point, and that point is that he's continuously running away from the law authorities. It has two kind of impacts. One is that his own followers, die-hard followers, they might think that, oh, he's so great that he's not been able to catch up. But I must tell you, a vast majority of Sikhs and Punjabis, they think that, this is not a case of heroism or bravado that he's been putting up, that he will do this and he will do that, and instead of he's on the run. So the vast majority of Punjabis, particularly the Sikhs, are not impressed that he has run away. You can take, another example of Bhindranwale, that was 30 years ago. But it took him 6 years to build his image and whatever. And he had been constantly, agitating, fighting, and was, facing all kind of police pressures. But he never gave in. He never ran away. I don't recall a single incident where he had ran away from the police or security forces. He faced them, whatever, wrongly, rightly, whatever their followers might be thinking. Certainly, he had to pay a price for it, certainly. But he did it instead of running away. So I don't recall in my last 30, 40 years of journalism experience that he had either run away, he had faced the police wherever he was.
Right, very important point to note, isn't it, Pankaj? The fact that, if this is bringing back the specter of Bhindranwale from the 80s Punjab, then there's a very marked difference between Bhindranwale and Amritpal Singh. He faced whatever came against him, whereas Amritpal Singh is on the run.
Well, absolutely, and Mr. Pabbi is absolutely right when he says that there are no streaks that are common between Bhindranwale and obviously Amritpal, because the dynamics also have changed. Krishna, we must take into consideration the fact that when Bhindranwale was making his demands, obviously the situation at that time was evolving. That was a new approach that was being taken from a particular section of the Sikh society, which was finding resonance, had started to find resonance outside Indian borders also. But here we have a case in this day and age where internet and telephony makes life very easy and communication very easy. So that way, the kind of repercussions we are seeing outside the borders of India gives a lot of motivation and in a way support to voices like these, who not just want to make their demands felt and made heard here, but also put pressure. Remember Akal Takht'S comment that we were playing just now, it also said that by using diplomatic methods, we would put pressure, we would start a movement not just in India but abroad as well. So that aspect once again highlights the very fact that why an Amritpal would choose to stay away from Indian borders, might sneak into Nepal and then go to a third country, maybe a UK or a US, or for that matter some are saying Pakistan. And the kind of support that India's stature as of now, what India holds as of now. So I would say that there are many takers who would want to bring India down, and in that regard also support Amritpal and maybe try to get away with their own notions and own goals that they want to achieve.
Right, Mr. Vipin Pabbi, talking about support from the diaspora, of Sikhs around the world, how do you think this, in that context, this particular ultimatum from the Akal Takht stands?
You see, I would like to point out that there have been more protests outside India by the diaspora than within India or within Punjab. So there have been hardly any protests. There had been one protest going on near Chandigarh border in Mohali, but that was an old protest going on, and those people, lent support to the Amritpal Singh. But there's no other mass protest or even smaller protest anywhere in the in the state. So there have been more protests outside, which clearly shows that he had the backing from outside. And further evidence has also proved that he and his fellows were getting funds from abroad, and they were the one who were propping him up. After, how do you explain somebody paratrooping 6 months back and trying to gauge some all kind of publicity and trying to disrupt the law and order situation in Punjab? But he just came, and there is no evidence that the car that he was using, a luxury car, was also bought by an NRI. Then another one of his colleagues was found with 35 crore funds, which are unexplained, and a lot of arms and ammunition and everything, including bulletproof jackets and stuff like that. So it is very, very clear that he was getting the backing of the Indian diaspora, or I would say a fraction of Indian diaspora. We have millions of Sikhs and Punjabis outside. It was only handful of 100, 200, 300 people who have been protesting at these different places. And even their antecedents are not really above board. That's what the people say, that they have, maybe some of them are very genuinely feeling about it. They are living maybe in a time capsule when they thought that the situation was very bad in Punjab and all that, maybe having some genuine grievances too. But their support base is very, very limited. Don't forget that millions of Sikhs and Punjabis are there abroad, and these are a handful of people, not more than 500, 600 in any case, in any of these places where they've got, as per we see on images on the television.
Right, Mr. Vipin Prabhu, you're talking about this whole thing by the Akal Takht being a politically motivated move. Talk to us in terms of the political fortunes of the Akali Dal per se, which has been, from going from bad to worse in Punjab.
Yes, Akali Dal, till the last election, till the latest election that took place about a year ago, Akali Dal, even if it had lost the election, it would get at least 35% votes. So normally it would happen in Punjab, once and a Congress government would come, and next time it is Akalis, and then vice versa. But in all these cases, the winning party would have about 40% of the percent of votes, and the losing will have something about 35%, always. But this time they were actually reduced to just 3 seats. And, that was reflective of the anger among the people. One was against the Congress because of the infighting and tamasha they made it. Akalis, because they have been in power for 10 years, it was during their time that there were sacrilegious incidents of sacrilege. How can you take 7, 8 years and still not be able to nab the culprits in that? I mean, this was something most people knew who were the kind of people who were doing it. They have caught now, they've arrested some people. But why the ruling government, that is at that time, Akalis, did not take action, and they thought maybe they will exploit this situation just before the election, but it was too late. By the time it was too late, people were got fed up that for last 7 years you're not able to catch those culprits. And there were all these rumors that it was these people and their police officers at that time, the senior police was involved, that they knew of the situation, and they deliberately added fuel to fire. So the space for Akalis, as you were just discussing, the space for Akalis was sharply decreasing. Now they are reduced just for 3 seats, and I think less than 10% of votes. I think maybe lesser than 10%, definitely. So they are now in a position, they would like to revive themselves. Now that they are not with BJP, earlier BJP and Akalis have been together. Now they are on their own with, of course, the BSP. So they are now feeling that this is the time that they can group together, they can become a force again, because the anger with Congress perhaps remains, and the anger with Aam Aadmi Party has increased over the last 1 year since they have been here. So I think they are trying to find ways from where they will become relevant in Punjab politics. All the elections are still about 4 years away, but they would like to become relevant because right now they have been losing everywhere wherever they're contesting. And the elections to, I think, Panchayat and some other things will be coming shortly, and so will it be for SGPC. So they would certainly like to remain in contention, to increase their vote share, which has fallen drastically. So I think they will find now, and they're getting activated not only with SGPC. I find Sukhbir Singh Badal, their president for now, he has been going around meeting people, addressing small public rallies and all that. So he is trying to activate, and he is also reaching out to people who were earlier not very happy with the Badals, with the Badal family. So he's reaching out to them, asking them to come on, let us get together, forget the past differences, let us try to revive the party in Punjab. And in a way, I must add, just 1 minute I will take. It is actually Akali Dal was something that was good for Punjab, because they were basically moderates. And they were able to keep at helm the extremist element, because there were representatives of the Sikhs, and also a large part of Hindus, I must say. Akali Dal had support from both Hindus and the Sikhs, but they were losing it, and the bad performance they had last time, and they need to be they must be introspecting about it, and they are trying to make themselves relevant again.
The Akali Dal is trying to make itself relevant again, is the word coming in from Vipin Pabbi. And that's very important to note here, isn't it, Pankaj? You know, that the last election results was quite devastating for the Shiromani Akali Dal. And here they are clearly seeing the opportunity to bounce back into relevance. Absolutely. As far as the Punjab public is concerned. That's what this ultimatum is all about.
Well, indeed, it has got all the hallmarks of a typical political approach towards this whole incident, which could fast translate into a national security issue as well. But Mr. Pabbi, and you mentioned it correctly, that for Shiromani Akali Dal obviously deserting the BJP and going all alone in the Punjab Assembly elections last year was also, they knew somewhere down the line that their association with the BJP in the midst of the ongoing raging farmers' protest was going to backfire at them. So towards the end, when this when the government was not relenting, they chose to sever ties with the BJP, and the drama that unfolded also in Delhi was something that not many could have believed, that these two partners, alliance partners, are now parting ways. So that was one thing. And secondly, yes, latching on to this kind of opportunity also with a religion part thrown in, this makes obviously once again they are trying to make themselves relevant. But I'm sure that as far as Punjab's voters are concerned, Punjab's polity is concerned, I think Aam Aadmi Party needs, it's been just 1 year, maybe they will give them some more time as of now to get their act straight.
And especially if they can nab Amritpal Singh at the earliest, that will certainly help the Aam Aadmi Party's fortunes in Punjab, doesn't it, Vipin Pabbi? Also, before we let you go, I wanted to ask you about this meeting that the Akal Takht'S is holding with all the Sikh intellectuals and journalists. What can one expect from that meeting?
I think that is the idea, that they would like to expand their level, their sphere of activities, and they would like to involve more people. That's what they feel, that as I was just saying, that they are more aligned with the Shiromani Akali Dal. So perhaps this move is may be seen as that they are trying to gain opinion from other people also as to how we should proceed further, so that it doesn't remain just only the Akali Dal doing it. So I think it is basically to improve the sphere. And rightly, as you're saying, that for Aam Aadmi Party, it's a very, very big test. They have messed up in the past. They have taken several steps which are not up to the mark. But now, letting go Amritpal, and now almost every day it's kind of there are some photographs or something coming in. It is very, very hugely embarrassing for the Bhagwant Singh Mann government. So they must be praying, they must be making tough efforts to nab him. And they have issued a notice at various places, including Nepal and all that. So I think, yes, it is the top priority right now to catch him before he tries to become a hero particularly for his followers and the fence sitters.
Right. Before we wrap this up, Pankaj, Vipin Pabi was talking about that the possibility of him escaping to Nepal, and clearly with the coordination between India and Nepal is on high alert when it comes to that matter.
Well, yes, the Indian authorities have gotten in touch with the Nepalese authorities, and obviously the initial reports mentioned that he might be in Nepal, crossing over through the porous borders that India and Nepal share. And the effort now is on to at least prevent his departure from Nepal, if at all he is there, to a third country, which might become a little difficult as far as the proximity is concerned. And secondly, we saw earlier today some visuals also popped up, maybe from earlier, when it was claimed that Amritpal was loitering around in East Delhi, in the heart of the national capital. Again, that is something, could be, in terms of the kind of flamboyant life he wants to portray, holding an energy drink and posing for the shutterbugs. That is something, that is a typical Amritpal for you, young, bold, and trying to make a statement. But he, I think, has not been able to make the difference with the thin line, whether it is anti-national or what comes under the purview of law. That is something that Amritpal needs to know.
Right, and right now the Punjab police, the Punjab government needs to know where exactly is Amritpal Singh to make sure that he is brought under custody. We're still waiting on that, but I'm afraid we've completely run out of time here on this particular discussion on the matter. Pankaj Mishra, thank you so much for joining us in the studio, and of course Vipin Pabi, senior journalist, thank you for taking time out to be with us here on this edition of News 9 Live. Thank you to all those who are watching this broadcast. It's a wrap here from my side. This is Krishna Kumar signing off.